All right, so we're going to do an example on sets here that's actually borrowed from the Python documentation, which is nice on this. So the idea here is that we have a company that has a set of employees, engineers, programmers, and managers. So the set of engineers and the set of programmers can overlap. For example, we'll notice that Jack and Jack is in both sets. He's both an engineer and a programmer. And you'll also notice that Jack's a manager as well. So how do we play with this in a nice way? Well, let's run this so we have each of these on our command line so I can look at my engineers here. And one of the things I might want to do is just check here or create a set that is all the employees. So I can say employees is equal to all the engineers or programmers or managers. So if we OR those all together, that ought to give us the set of everyone that's in the company. You might also want to know who is in the full-time management role. So to do this, we could check by saying, you know what, I want to say managers only is equal to the managers minus the engineers minus the programmers. So we start with the managers. If you're an engineer, then you're not a full-time manager. If you're a programmer, you're not a full-time manager. Oh, let me correct my spelling here. And we run that, and we can look at managers only. And there's only one of them. It's just Zach. He's the only guy that's only in the management role. Now, it might happen that you come along and you add somebody to your list, or to your company. So here we have engineers. And maybe we want to add good old Marvin. And if we look now, we indeed have Marvin added to this list. Or you might do something where you acquire another company. And so Acme engineers could be, I don't know, let's Joe and Elaine. And in this case, you could say now the engineers, I need to add that to our list of engineers because it was an engineering company, so everybody there was an engineer. So we can go and say update my engineering team with all the people that were engineers at Acme. So now we've added Joe and Elaine. And in fact, this does not have to be a set in this case. It could actually be any kind of container or sequence of elements. So it could have been a list just as easily. And the update method for set would work. All right, so let's do one other check now. We could ask if the engineers now, we want to make sure we have everybody in place from Acme Engineering. So we could check, is the engineering set, does it contain all the Acme engineers? And this should be true because we just added them in, and that's true. The last thing to show here is if you just have one element and you want to see if it's in a set, it works just like the other containers. So if I wanted to check if Joe was a member of the engineering team, I could say, is Joe in engineers? And that should be true. But if I wanted to ask if Zach was an engineer, that will be false. So while that works with all containers, it's also a nice feature of sets. So sets here, we've shown how we can combine a group of sets by doing a union with the OR operation. We've also shown how we can subtract out one set from the other one to find out all the full-time engineers. This is fairly typical behavior. So sets aren't going to be your day-to-day go-to tool nearly the same way that strings are, or lists are, or numbers, or NumPy arrays. However, when you come up to a case like this where you have classes of unique items that you want to compare, or combine. They really provide a nice tool for dealing with that.